Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rick Godley, and this is 13 minutes of Freedom 13 Ministries. We're going to be talking with Lindsey Crawford. All things local, ATL-Ruston.com. All things local, ATL-Lincoln.com. And ever local be, if you could dream it, I can stream it. So to help get the word out for not only businesses, but ministries, nonprofit organizations, as well as makers, music, and museums. That's who we are. That's what we're doing. And this was the first one that came to my mind to reach out to Lindsey. I had her on the radio show a couple of years ago to help spread the message of Freedom 13 Ministries, rescue, value, transform. Lindsey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well as well. We will find out afterwards when we produce the video if we create some social content on a very, very serious, somber, and sobering subject. Tell the folks who may not have heard, and I know there's a lot, of Freedom, check that, Freedom 13 Ministries, who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Well, Freedom 13 is almost 7 years old, so we're fairly young in the nonprofit world. We do several things locally. We get involved with some of the major issues that affect our community. We love to give opportunities to women, to young women, to students in our community, an opportunity to start over in life if that's something that they need to do. Give them the resources to make that happen. We have a jail ministry, we have a sex trafficking ministry, we educate our community on some of these tough topics that affect us all on a daily basis, but we bring we bring them out to be exposed, and we try to do it in a positive way, because if we don't deal with them, then they'll affect us in some form or fashion.
Well, sure enough, and what it is, by the way, freedom13ministries.com. The link will be below for you to find out more and explore. If you need help, please, the numbers are there, and the offices are here in Ruston. And if you want to volunteer physically or financially, those opportunities are there as well. So we are, you said sex trafficking, and Lindsey, I think you and I had talked about it, and let's get real one with another. I'd rather we didn't have to talk about this dark subject, and therefore if you don't cast a light on it, it will remain in the dark. But this is Ruston, this is Lincoln Parish, it's here.
It is, it really is. In fact, in the entire state of Louisiana in 2020, there were over 750 reported cases of sex trafficking, and the large majority of those were juveniles. And we had, I'm guessing here, it was somewhere around 15 or 20 cases just in Lincoln Parish.
You know, it almost sounds benign. The word sex trafficking is heinous enough, and I think those who have understand it. But we're talking about bondage and slavery in 2021.
We really are. It's hard to wrap your mind around sometimes, but we refer to it often as modern day slavery. When you hear the word slavery, it's probably not where your mind would go. We think historically some of the things we've come from as a country, but the truth is anyone who is held against their will or made to do things against their will, that is slavery.
Mm-hmm. And Freedom 13 Ministries, part of the solution, you can be part of it as well. And then also part of Freedom 13 Ministries is purchased, not for sale, NELA. Talk about what that is.
Right, so Purchase was birthed really out of our jail ministry a couple of years ago. We were meeting women within the jails, the local jails, that came from all sorts of sexual trauma, but there were several that were specific to sex trafficking. And at that point, we just really didn't have anything to offer except love and support. Mm-hmm. So we reached out to one of our sister ministries in Shreveport, the Hub. They have purchased Shreveport there, and they had been doing it at that point for about 7 or 8 years. They, of course, right now it's about 10 years. And, you know, we thought to ourselves, why reinvent the wheel when there's something that's working so effectively? And that's really how that came about.
You know, and here's the thing, too. This is going to be up posted, and this is going to reach far and wide. It's a ubiquitous problem. If it's happening in beautiful Ruston, Lincoln Parish, it's happening pretty much everywhere. And it will continue to happen until folks step up. And it does take a word of encouragement, as we talked about earlier when I got here, to speak up. Now, let's address those who have been taken bondage and have been traumatized and have shame and have all of whatever goes with that. Tell them there's help, there's hope, there's healing, because others have been there. They know how you feel, and this is what they found out when they found the help.
Right. Well, a couple of things in regards to that. As far as sex trafficking victims, you know, the individuals in our community where they actually fit the criteria for that, we have a 9 to 12 month residential recovery program. We have a home here in Lincoln Parish where we can take them in and really give them round the clock resources and care and support through Freedom 13, which that's what we refer to as purchased. And then for those that maybe don't have sex trafficking by definition in their background, but they have other sorts of needs. Maybe they're homeless, maybe they're hungry, maybe they're fighting an addiction. We offer our doors, we open our doors to them as well. We love the opportunity to tell them about the great things Lincoln Parish offers for people who find themselves in tough situations.
You know, as you're explaining that, and sometimes we get anesthetized, if you will, by the term statistics or 43% or 12%. No, these are people. These are human beings. You have value. You have worth. And I would dare say, and always feel free to correct me on any time, most of the time, if not upper 90% of the time, you did nothing. You know what I mean? It's like they got caught. That is a definition of taken into bondage and slavery and sex trafficking. And therefore, it's you were caught and you need the help out, and the resources are here.
Right. In fact, the majority of trafficking victims that Freedom 13 has worked with, most of them, if not all of them, come from what we call familia trafficking, which means they were trafficked at the hands of a family member. You know, because we don't have establishments in Ruston like we do, say, in Shreveport or Monroe. So it's very community specific, you know, this issue of trafficking. Right. And it's someone's child. That's what we try to remind ourselves. It's someone's son, it's someone's daughter, it's someone's mother. And they have, you know, they didn't wake up that morning and say, hey, this is really what I want to do with my life. You know, they're there because of circumstances.
Sure enough. 13 Minutes with Freedom 13 Ministry. Lindsey, Crawford here on the ATL Network. Brag on your staff that's here, because you've been here, you mentioned, 6 years. Not every day is a walk in the park when you're going into the minefield of this dark matter.
No, and it often bothers me when I have to be kind of the spokesperson for this organization. I mean, I'm glad to do it, but I could not do any of these things that we've mentioned without my staff. They truly carry the load of what we do. I've got Wendy Johnson, who is our purchase director. She actually oversees the program and lives in the house with our women. So she has basically 2 full-time jobs. And then I have Cece Lee here, and she's the brains of the operation. She handles all of our technical stuff, our social media stuff, our relationships in the community. She basically does everything else that we haven't mentioned here.
That's called a factotum. Look it up. It's a real word. It's one who does everything.
That's it.
Isn't that right, Cece? Okay.
That's our
They're
Cece.
laughing in the background.
That's
all right. Would love to put you out of business in a perfect utopian heavenly world, but at the same time, that's not going to happen. So we want to put you to work and willing to go anywhere, any place, anytime to speak on behalf of the ministry. And we're talking about church organizations. We're talking about civic organizations. We're talking about schools. Am I volunteering you beyond your call?
Oh, that would be great. The truth is, if the church, if the body of Christ stepped up and did what we're all supposed to do biblically, we wouldn't need a Freedom 13. We wouldn't need some of the other nonprofits even in our organization, and that would be a glorious day for that to happen. But in the meantime, we've got some great community partners, great church partners, and the school system has been a new thing for us, but we've been able to go into some of our local schools here in Lincoln Parish and talk to them openly and honestly about social media and technology and some of the things to look for so that they don't fall prey and become a victim themselves. And that has been a really positive experience for us so far.
Well, let's talk just briefly about apprehension and what we're going to do. By the way, future episodes on this will address your questions. Feel free to email them to Freedom 13 Ministries. That's the number 13.com. We'll address them. But the apprehension of somebody who is watching this, be it 5 years old, 15 years old, 35 years old, 50, I'm sure this knows no age, season, or talk to them about maybe the first consultation that they can make or reaching out in anonymity.
Well, often victims will feel like, this is something I can't share. It's too shameful. This is going to expose, someone I care about, or there's just a list of things. And I would just like to encourage, if that's you or if it's someone you know, don't believe that. That is a lie that we often buy. There is someone here in this community that wants to walk alongside you through this. You can always reach out to us. 318-242-1300, or you can call the human trafficking hotline, and you can always report cases throughout that way. But I would just be brave, be courageous, and know that this is a real issue, and there are people here who want to help.
Sure enough, and let's be part of the solution, and that way we can be the light that will help other communities in and around Louisiana and grow out from here. Lindsey, Crawford, thank you so much for all that you do, and we'll see what episode 2 will be.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for watching. You know what to do. Share the message far and wide. 13 minutes with Freedom 13 Ministries. Lindsey, Crawford, Rick Godley. We will stream you later.